So, hello. Hey, hello, internet. I see, well, you see me, but I don't see what you might see or hear me. I can't tell. I don't know. But I know people do both. Oh, yeah. Hello. See me waving? Hear me waving. Give myself a little countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So hey everyone, what is up? Welcome. Thank you so much for showing up. No, that's a terrible way to start. Hello, welcome. This is What's Up with Trove, episode number 20. 20. That's right. We've already done the double digits, now we're in the 20s. 20. Although you saw that backwards, that's 0 two. I don't know. I can't do that weird screen thing. Anyway, what is up with Trove? This is episode 20, and I am so happy to be here. Quick podcast update here. My internet is functioning. I hope this is. If you can hear this right now, my internet is functioning. If not, then I'm talking to myself right now, and it's kind of bizarre, kind of weird. Echo. Yeah, so last week I do apologize. I'm coming in really hot. Test 1 2. Okay, so anyway, yeah, last week my internet, my Comcast was just up and down and up and down, and it's like a roller coaster in here. And it turns out that our modem potentially went bad. Which is really weird because we called them and we fought with their customer service rep, and they're like, "It's on your end. We're perfectly fine. You're insane. Blah blah blah." Until we finally got a hold of one awesome tech helpy gentleman who's like, "No, your internet's not fine, and so we're gonna do some magic on our end, and we're gonna send you a new modem, and we're gonna get it all fixed." However, sadly, I still don't have the new modem yet, or router. Whatever that magical box is over there on that end of the table over there, he said was not functioning, which is weird because now it is perfectly functioning. Either way, I still don't have a new modem router doohickey. It's a weird hybrid thing. But yeah, so long story short, I am running on internet and it's working right now. We'll see how that goes as the show goes on. But yeah, so because I wasn't here last week, we are going to do another one of those awesome double week episodes where we cover 2 weeks worth of patch notes in one episode. Cool thing is I actually did 2 community spotlights, which we'll get to later on in the show. So I actually did my homework and whatnot. But first, what I've been up to in Trove. Not a lot because my internet has been down. I guess that's a weird question, but I finally got my consecutive login days wings. That's 90 days of consecutive logins, and I finally got the Midnight Mantle set of wings, and my gosh, they are beautiful. They're purple. They've got little stars all over them, and they flow like a carpet, and oh, they're just so beautiful. They're my new favorite set of wings, and they're great. Until somebody makes buttered toast wings, then those might be my favorite. I might just have to drop the Midnight Mantle wings for buttered toast wings. That would be amazing. But yeah, that's really about all I've been doing in Trove, because that's about all I've been able to do is log in and do a little bit of running around, a couple challenges, and then logging out, because internet, yeah. Hashtag internet issues. But anyway, enough of that internet stuff. No more. I will not mention the internet anymore. This show. But lost track there. Consecutive day wings. They are beautiful and awesome and gorgeous. And my pilgrim is wearing them right now, so it's great and I love it. Quick bit of news before we jump into the actual news this week. please be aware that there is a very major, well, it's not as major as it sounds when I say it, but there's a scam going around, and it's not so much that veteran players are falling for it, but newer players to Trove are falling for it quite a bit. Basically, what happens is the scammer kind of gets in friendly with the newer player and gets inside their club world and says, hey, you might want some more space. Let me give you a community chest. And so he gives them a community chest, and the new player says, sweet, cool, more space. And so they unload all their inventory into the community chest. And then they go on with their day and they play their game, and the scammer actually teleports into their club world, because you can do that if you use the / join world and then the club world name. You can go join anybody's club world that you want. And so the scammer, knowing that the newer player put all of their stuff in the community chest, will just teleport to the club world and steal everything from the community chest. Because community chests are actually open for everybody. So watch out for that. If somebody offers you a free chest, take it, because it's a free community chest. It's awesome. It does require some materials, and they are useful in club worlds, but don't put your important stuff in community chests, because that makes it very vulnerable. Keep stuff in your inventory and keep stuff in your personal chest if you don't want anybody at all to be able to get to it. And it's terrible that somebody would notice that and take advantage of a newer player to Trove. That's just terrible. THIIIIIIIIIIS really needs to take and make items in the in the clubs only exclusive to clubs. And as far as I'm aware at this moment in time, you can use any community chest in any club. And so it's just terrible that people would pull this kind of stuff on newer players to Trove. It's very bad, not marketing, but it just makes the game look terrible. And so it's for the ones that actually enjoy the game, and it just looks terrible on the game's end as a whole if people are scamming players and tricking them and just taking advantage of the fact that they're new. So watch out for that. That is in the game, and just watch out for that if your friends and whatnot are taking advantage of that. I don't think there's much that THIIIIIIIIS can do on their end, because scamming isn't technically against the terms of service, so they can't take any action against that, but it's just in bad taste. And if you do take it to the forums, do not name shame, because that is against the terms of service and the laws of the forums, and they will bust you for that. So do not name shame. If you take any issues to the forums, just say, hey, somebody scammed me. Is there anything I can do, or something like that? So, but that's kind of that's it for that. Yeah, we're gonna walk away from that one, and just be aware that that is there. And let's move on to the actual game news. So do keep in mind, this is 2 weeks of patch notes and discussion, and so some of this may currently be in the game, and some of it may be coming next week. I just kind of meshed everything into one giant blob of patch notes and show notes, and just kind of went into it. But yeah, so let's hop into the news for this week. So we got a new adventure box, and it is the blue and green manta rays. These are pretty sweet. These are really, really sweet looking mounts. They float like manta rays, and I think they have a decent, like, they look really nice when swimming in the water. It kind of looks like a manta ray swimming in the water, I guess, if that's how a manta ray just kind of wivels through the water. But yeah, they're made by, I do believe, Fried Sushi, and they're great. They look awesome, and they'll be here for, I think, 3 or 4 weeks roundabout. So make sure you get those and farm up and just destroy everything on Thursdays, because that's the day that we have double drops for pretty much everything. So make sure you get your chests. I think they're selling for about 2 to 3K flux right now, round about that price. So, and just remember that they will decrease in price before they're gone, and you'll probably be able to pick one up for about 1K flux in a couple weeks. So if they're not super important and you can wait to have them, wait for a week or two and then pick those up because they'll be much, much cheaper. Um, but yeah, and so oops, I gotta skip over that. Another thing that is, it's not really news per se, but I was browsing the internet as I do all day long. And I came across an ad, and as you know, when Trove launched, they pushed a ton of resources to advertisement for Trove, and I hadn't really paid too much attention to it, but this one caught my eye, and I'm gonna bring it up on the screen, but I'm also gonna verbalize it, and so that way all the audio listeners on SoundCloud and whatnot can kind of get a visual of it. Um, but let me click this button here. It's going to block my face for just part of a second. I don't know, that actually looks pretty good. So basically, if you're not seeing it, what it is it's just an ad, and it's got a Dracolite in its dragon form fighting a Necromancer's ultimate minion. And the headline says, Dragon versus Necromancer, you choose. And it's kind of cool because this kind of hints just a little bit, not confirming anything because PvP is already confirmed, but it just kind of gives you a cool visualization of what PvP could look like in Trove. And I'm sorry, but I know a lot of people aren't excited for PvP, but I am super psyched for it. So it's gonna be pretty sweet when it comes out, and so keep an eye out for all the ads and whatnot for Trove, and it's pretty sweet to see all of their advertisements and all that good jazz and whatnot. So and also back to the patch notes. That was just another like kind of side switch there. We got some fishing additions. Additions. There we go. I can't speak. We got more trophies, which are awesome. I'm a big fan of trophies. I've got a big wall in my club world of every trophy that I've really ever gotten. It's great. I've never sold a trophy, so I have a ton of them. But fishing. So as you know, you can fish in Trove. And you go to the hub world and talk to the Pirate Pete Sam guy. Pirate Pete? It's either Pirate Pete or Saltwater Sam, I think it is. Whoever. He's in a giant boat, and he'll sell you some fishing lures for Glim, and you can go and fish in the water. Well, basically, previously when you fished, you just got a fish, and you deconstruct it, and you get something from the fish. Now, while you're fishing, you'll notice when you catch a fish, each fish has its own unique weight to it. In other words, you're no longer catching the same fish over and over and over and over again. You're catching the same type of fish that weighs different weights. And so you're going to catch all of these fish, and there are certain little borderlines that determine the quality of that fish. So you've got your bronze, your silver, and your gold trophies. And so after the fish's weight kind of breaks that little point, when you deconstruct it, not only will you get the loot from it, you also receive a trophy of that fish with a border around the fish that's bronze, silver, or gold based on the size of the fish. And that's pretty sweet. It just kind of adds a little bit more depth into fishing. The only thing that a lot of people are, not a lot, but quite a few people on the forums are saying is if you catch a bigger fish, you should get bigger rewards. Because it kind of makes no sense to have the exact same amount of stuff on the inside of a bigger fish and a smaller fish have the exact same amount of stuff, even though it's a smaller fish. So it'd be really cool if Tryon went in and just made like a random number between 1 and 20 or whatever the rewards are for that particular fish. Just kind of randomize it up a bit to add some more feel to it. But the trophies are definitely a straightforward, and not a straightforward, but like improvement on fishing. There we go. And so it looks really good. And all of the trophies that I've gotten so far are really awesome. And it's definitely brought more want to go and go fish. And even if you're not a fan of trophies, if you're a fan of Flux, you can always go sell the trophies for Flux and just make some more money in Trove. It's great. I'm seeing nothing but positives. Tryon is doing a bunch of amazing things for this game, and they're taking a step in the direction. Actually, just today, the Trove was up all day. It's great. So even server stability is getting better. knock on wood. My camera's lagging out here. Test, test, test. My internet dying? I hope not. Maybe it is. I do apologize if you're watching the video feed right now, but I am lagging out just a little bit. Just a little bit, but my internet's not quite down. I'll lose all visual if the internet goes down, so we will see what happens here. So let's go ahead and jump into auras. We got some new auras also. Inside of your what's the word? Your it's like where your styles tab is. If you hit by default, if you hit Y on your keyboard, it'll bring up your styles closet, kind of, and in there you can see, in there you can see all of your auras for your radiant weapons lined up in a row, and you can just see all of your auras that you have unlocked. And they added 3 new auras, Shadow Stain and Tough Love, which are just dropped from random enemies as you're running around. And then there's also the there's a third. I apologize. There are 3 new auras. 2 of them are dropped from adventuring, the Shadow Stain and the Tough Love, and then the Neon aura, which is gained from getting the 50 Neon Dragon Souls badge. That comes along with those. So make sure you grab those. They all look good and they're awesome, and I'm a big fan. The only thing that should change with auras, in my opinion, is just get rid of the glim cost and just let us choose it like a style tab. Just let us go in and say, hey, today I feel like this one, today I feel like that one, and just have it be no cost. Just get rid of the machine part that requires it. Especially now, because when you go and you cycle through your auras to pick a new one, like you go up to the I can't think of the name of the machine off the top of my head, but the machine you walk up to and you pay it 75 glim to switch auras. It used to be random, and now it's just an order. So it goes A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E. And so if you're on C, you're always going to go to D. And I think they should just get rid of that and just make it to where you can go into your styles tab and go down to the radiant auras and just pick your aura. Just my opinion, though. Just my 2 cents. But yeah, so I mean, I understand it's a glim. Wow, I'm losing all language tonight. It's a glim like sync, glim sync. Yeah, there we go. For glim, and lost my train of thought again. Let's move on to sales. There are some new sales, and those are found at the parrots on the ships in the treasure biomes, the treasure island biomes. There we go. They cost glim, just like the previous sales. We got the inner sea, the raider, the foolish fish, the much, the bee, the ladybug, the serpent's nest, and the compass rose sails. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 brand new sails. All of them cost glim. So if you don't have them yet, you can go out to the treasure islands and pick those up from any pirate parrot that sells stuff out there. And those are the same vendors that are randomly cycled along with the raptor pets and the butterfly pets and any of the treasure island biome pet vendors. So all right, moving on down the line here. The store got an update, also not an update, but just the basic store news. The chaos chest this week was re-randomized. Now this week's main things is the Bone Weaver mount, the Arcanium Discord wings, the Chaotic Clipper ship, and the Mahogany Toboggan. There we go. Mag Rider. So those are all in the chaos chest this week. And we also got the Sorceress Servant emblem, which is 10,000 coins. And that is the Magic Find minion that spawns. It's like the chicken. I can't think of the name of the emblem, but it's the chicken that you throw out when you use your potion. It throws out a little mini chicken to fight for you. The Sorcia's Servant emblem is just a magic find, and I think it's either magic find or magic damage. It'll pop out a little wisp guy that floats around and gives you stats. So, and also we got the new Meowts that were in the Chaos Chest a couple weeks ago. The Dai Meowt, the Arigato, and the Domogato mounts. And that's really all that we have this past 2 weeks for patch notes. Also, just a bunch of miscellaneous bug fixes and crashes, and some Desert Frontier enemies are now dropping trophies that didn't used to have them. So those are now dropping, and new bows, new hat styles. Also, if you do /played, it will now show how much time you've spent in Trove total. This doesn't count backwards; it only counts forwards. So after the patch that this comes out in, came out in or comes out in, I think it's last week, so it should be in the game now. I'm pretty sure. If it's not already in, then next week it will be in there on Tuesday. And it'll show how much time you've spent in Trove after that when it's actually in the game. So, and that's really it for the news this week. The community, or the lost. This is why I can't take a week off. I get out of sync. I get fall off the bowling lanes. Wander. So this week's community discussion isn't really a huge discussion per se. Avram was at Gamescom 2 weeks ago, I want to say, and he just kind of chatted with Trovasaurus. And if you're not familiar with Trovasaurus, that's a wonderful site for all things Trove. It's a website blog type format. If it's basically all things Trove, they break down data mine, leaks, weekly community spotlights, everything. It's great. Trovasaurus is awesome. But anyway, they sat down with Avram at Gamescom, and they talked pretty much about all things Trove. And the full interview, of course, the full discussion interview is on, I've got a link to it in the show notes. But in there specifically, Avram pointed out while they were talking about shadow towers, and those are coming in the next patch. I want to say, I think that's supposed to be here sometime early September. I think the first week of September. Might even be September 1st. I'm not too sure exactly when that's coming, but anywho, they were talking about the shadow tower. And Avram said something to the point of Shadow Towers are Shadow Arenas 2.0. And this got me really excited. I am a huge fan of Shadow Arenas and what they do. They provide a set of group content that allows the group to kind of meld, because eventually, like at Uber 6, you have to strategize a little bit to successfully do a Shadow Arena. And so the fact that Avram is saying that Shadow Towers are Shadow Arenas 2.0 just gets me really super excited, because I already am enjoying Shadow Arenas, and the fact that they're going to be getting even better is awesome. And now I do have a little bit more detail that they talked about today, actually Friday, on the live stream, just a wee bit on what, a little bit more in depth on what the Shadow Arena is, or the Shadow Towers are. But I'm going to go into that in the future of Trove at the end of the show, because I don't want to spoil too much if you don't wish to be spoiled. So we'll come back just a wee bit to that in a bit. But I want to talk about the community spotlights this week. Yay! We have two of them. 2 community spotlights. So the first one that I want to talk about is I want to bring it up here so I can see it. And can I bring it up on the stream? I don't know if I can. Let's see. I don't want to break it. Let's see if I can do this. Video, image, monitor. Okay. And okay. Did I break it? Oh, maybe. I don't know. Let's see what happens here. There's a video within a video, videoception. Okay, so if you're watching the video, let's see here. Click, see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, this is the Yoshi mount is featured this week, and that's trippy. I'm gonna just shrink that down a wee bit. So this week, the first community spotlight is by THIIIIIIIIIIS, and there's a link to it in the show notes. But it's basically Yoshi from Mario, Yoshi from Mario, and it just looks great. It runs great, and it's just adorable. I love it. It's a great mount. And it replaces the Roboraptor, and it's just cute and it's cool. I don't know if it can actually go into Trove or not with minus. Get rid of that. Poof. There we go. Hey, I'm back. Cool. Hi. Hello. So yeah, I don't know if it can actually successfully go into Trove because of copyrights and patents, but that's why modding is cool, because you can do whatever you want with modding and nobody really cares too much what you do because you can just do whatever. And this is one of those really cool mounts that I would love to see in Trove. It's Yoshi. Come on, who doesn't love Yoshi? So there's a link to that in the show notes, and it's just great and it's awesome. Take a look at that, and yeah, Yoshi, it's great. He goes like and he eats the little peaches and all that stuff. Yeah. And then our next community spotlight is let's see if I can do this again. Open. Okay. Open sesame. First page. Cool. All right. So the next one is created by Bedges. And this is the I forgot to bring it up. This is the mustache ride. Ask your parents, kids. This is the Oh no, that's still Inception trippiness. So this is the mustache ride mount. Basically, it's a mustache. I mean, come on, who doesn't love a mustache? There's a GIF of it. It's a mustache, and it replaces the Regal recliner chair. And it's a mustache. Come on, who doesn't want to ride a mustache? That just sounds so weird saying that out loud now. But there's a bunch of videos and a couple videos and a couple pictures and whatnot, a couple gifs of all the supporters riding mustaches. And there's a link also to that in the show notes as well. And you're just riding a black mustache. It's really cool. And excuse me, I'm gonna scratch my ear now. Yeah, it's just really cool, and it's a lot of cool mods, and I really do want to get back into more community spotlights. I need to stop procrastinating, and oh, that's not the show notes. This is the show notes. There they are. And I'm trying to get back into community spotlights. I really am. So trying to get back in the habit of that. At least one or two a month. Really hoping to get into it. At least do one every episode. We'll see how I do. But so check that out. And like I said, whoop, am I crashing? Nope. Cool. The mustache ride mount replaces the Regal recliner, which is a mount gained at mastery rank 40. So, and that's really going to be it for this week's episode of What's Up with Trove, number 20. Real quick though, before I play the spoiler bumper and tell you guys where you can find me and all that magic jazz. On the stream today, they talked about some of the things coming next, and it's not a super spoiler. It's more of in advance to prepare you if you're interested in it, like I am. They showed last week on the stream and this week on the stream the sugar glider mount, and what that is it's a mount that's a sugar glider. It's a little squirrel, and he floats and he hovers, and he's a mount that's not only a ground mount, but he hovers. Not hovers. He flies like the dragon. He's like the dragon without the explosive bombs, because that would be weird if a squirrel had bombs Although that would be kind of neat. That'd be cool. Somebody should do a mod that lets you drop. I don't know. That's probably against the game rules. Anyway, it's a sugar glider. It's awesome, and it will be in the game next week. And they showed it off. They flew around on it. It's a really beautiful mount. Whichever member of the Trove team made that did a great job. I'm super excited for it. And they told us that it's going to be in the Chaos Chest next week. So if you are a fan of sugar gliders and you would like this mount, save up your Chaos Chests and then open them up next week, because next week it will be in there, and you have a small decent chance, just like all other Chaos Chests. But the more Chaos Chests that you have, the more chances you get. And if you are a patron, you get 2 Chaos Chests per day. So actually, not to sound like I'm promoting anything, but that sounded really terrible. Not to sound like I'm promoting anything, but if you buy patron now, you could have, math is bad. What's today? First. 4 days. You could have 8 Chaos Chests by then, and have 8 chances to get the mount. So definitely check that out. And if you're also mastery level 100, you get a Chaos Chest every day. And if you're cap on mastery, which I think is 200 right now, you get another Chaos Chest. So if you want the sugar glider, save up and open all those next week. Speaking of Chaos Chests, they also kind of gave a hint that soon, and I know during the stream they mentioned a day, but I did not write it down quick enough, and I do not know what day it was. But soon, at some point in time, they announced a double Chaos Factor event, which is pretty sweet. Basically, they said that for every Chaos Factor you have, instead of getting 1 chest, you're going to get 2. So for you want to stack up those points and the mastery. Get the mastery and get the patron if you are interested in that at all, because the double Chaos Factor event is going to be awesome. That basically means you, instead of having 1 chance to get the sugar glider, you'll have 2, and so on and so forth. I'm really starting to lag out. This is kind of weird. I'm gonna have to cut the show out soon. That's a sign. So really quickly here, if you would like to, I'm really lagging out here. This isn't good at all, I think. So if you want to find me, I am on the forums and in game as Tiny, TINY. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's at Alan91330. You can email the show at whatsupwithtrove@gmail.com. And the show notes that I keep talking about, you can find them at whatsupwithtrove.blogspot.com. You can also find me on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, all that jazz. And what else? There was one other one. I can't remember it. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was talking to Era, a really good friend of mine. And she was saying that she found me somewhere else, and I can't remember for the life of me. I'm so sorry. But she said that she found me somewhere else, and I can't remember it. Maybe it was an add-on for iTunes. I can't remember. So, yeah. But you can find me just about anywhere. YouTube, SoundCloud, all that other good jazz. And it's really going to be it for the show here. I'm going to hit this magical bumper in a second, and we'll segue into the future of Trove. And then that'll pretty much be it for this week. So for those of you who dip out before the future of Trove, I will see you next week. And now I'm going to hit this button. Whoops, wrong button. It's this one. Oop, nope, it's not playing. Okay, it's broken. Let's see. Marty, we have to go back. To where? Back to the future. Ooh, the future. I'm gonna have to cut that and use that. So anyway, I hope that's enough time for those of you who don't want spoilers to leave. But yeah, so welcome to the future of Trove. We're in the future now. We hopped in our DeLorean and we traveled to the future, where we talk about everything that was talked about on the live stream, that's been data mined, that's been leaked, that's been all that other jazz. that would otherwise be known as spoilers. If you don't want to know, that's your last chance to be going out. So 3, 2, 1. Poof. Okay, so let's see here. I've got it separated into 2 weeks. So last week in the live stream, they talked about tradable patron passes. This is very exciting because now you don't have to buy the patron pass with real money. You can buy it from other players for Flux. They said 30 days of patron is going to be 3,000 credits. So if you are a credit hoarder, you can buy your tradable patron pass and you can sell it to other players for Flux, Glim, whatever your magical merchandise is. There was also a slight Trove Q&A, and they talked about a bunch of stuff. Mainly, a question was asked about new biomes anytime soon, and they said soon, not at this moment. Someone asked about auction houses, and they said soon, not in this moment. The phase spider mount apparently is a mount that's in the works. And shadow towers, this is a really important one here that I asked. I'm very excited that they answered it. But I had asked if shadow towers will require the same shadow keys that shadow arenas currently use. And the answer was yes. So this is very important to kind of hoard your shadow keys if you're not actively using them. If you're selling them, I would hold on to them because shadow arena or shadow towers will require shadow keys, at least up until the harder difficulty. Apparently there's going to be another difficulty of shadow towers that requires a separate currency. So, but save up those shadow keys. I think I'm at 30 right now. I'm kind of hoarding them. And they also asked about PvP, and that's being tested internally, but they spent a lot of time explaining that a lot of their developer resources is going into shadow towers and the titans and everything there. So their PvP will not be coming out soon. However, testing might start soon, but they didn't exactly give a date, and they didn't super hint on when it would be coming. So I'm not expecting it anytime soon, but it will hopefully be in the game someday. So, and then this week's Trove stream was the really big one. We've all been data mining around and seeing a bunch of stuff about a class, the next class, which is the Lunar Lancer. So the Lunar Lancer was just briefly talked about, briefly shown. It's going to be a physical damage class, and its basic attack is like a front, like it carries its spear in front of it, and it holds it at its end, and it kind of jabs forward. I'm doing a weird illustration on the actual video, but it does a little stab as its basic attack, and it seemed like it was attacking through enemies. So like during the stream, they showed 3 enemies standing back behind each other, and the Lunar Lancer stabbed, and it went through all 3 of them in a row. So it seems like it's got a longer, lengthier basic attack. So that's pretty cool. Your right-click ability is going to throw a spear, like throw your spear. You're going to have your spear in your hand, you're going to launch it, and you're going to throw it, and it's going to stick to whatever it lands in. And that's going to do a little bit of damage. But the cool part about that is you can actually grapple to your spear. And when you get to your spear, it'll cause a big explosion. So that's going to be really unique and interesting to see how that's going to work out. And not only for PvE, but when PvP is in the game, how are people going to use their grappling hooks? It's pretty sweet. And it's just fascinating to see how that's going to work. And then their one ability was just kind of like this frontal cone attack, not like the ice cream cone or anything like it. It literally they attacked and it went like whoosh, like there was an attack that covered everything. Hand in position. This hand, there we go. It was like whoosh, and it brought it like in a frontal AOE kind of thing. And they said that it knocks them back, but not knock back like everybody doesn't like. He said that he used the term knock up, and he compared it to a stun. So we'll see how that works when it comes out and when we know more about it. And then they didn't show it off, but their ultimate apparently throws a giant spear on the ground, and it will cause damage and buffs the allies around you. So it's kind of a support spell. So, and mind you, all of this stuff that they talked about on the stream is still in testing, so none of it is fully official yet. It's official that they talked about it, but it's not it's not fully done yet, so it can change. That's the word I'm trying to think of. And then also their passive, they just kind of talked about and showed it off just a smidgen bit, but basically while you're attacking, doing all of your stuff, you're gaining power, and after you've gained a certain amount of power, you kind of get big, and that does, like, it increases your damage and whatnot. So a couple weeks ago they showed off like a big shadow titan looking creature, and they said he was going to transform into it, but it didn't match the lore of the character. So they ixnayed that and just made him a big, like, your character gets big and bulk, kind of like a bodybuilder almost. So, and that's really it. And they did say that sometime around the end of September is when this stuff will be coming out. So look forward to that. And that's really it. That's all we've got for the future of Trove. And I believe that's my time. We're running almost 45 minutes long while I'm recording. Of course, it's going to shrink down when I finish recording, when I finish editing and playing around with the audio and whatnot. So yeah, that's really going to be it. I will see you guys next week, hopefully, unless my internet explodes again. You never know. With Comcast, that could happen at any time. So I will see you all in the future. And then some magical closer happens. Boom, 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 boom.